Well, good morning, kids. I believe I have made an executive decision. Of course, I had to run it by corporate, but I think it's going to fly. I have thought about this. I picked up that graft wood yesterday that we scored to do this this pollination job down in Royal City. I have it here in my little pickup. But I don't want to haul it around for the next 2 days and have it baking underneath this black tonneau cover. So rather than unload it and load it, quite a lot of it, 50-some bundles. Anyway, instead of loading it and unloading it and all that, I think what I'm going to do is park this truck in the shade out back under my building there and open the back, and it'll be cool, and this wood will be just fine for the next couple of days. Well, it only has to be till Friday. We'll start using it Friday. This is Wednesday, so for the next 2 days, I think I'll just maybe drive another vehicle. Darn, isn't that a shame? But I might have to drive the old Chevy truck or Jimmy or maybe the old Blue Diamond. I don't know yet. Oh, there's another one of them Widowmakers. Well, I don't know how much we'll get done today. It looks like it's snowing up there at my house. It's starting to be kind of a dreary old day. I don't mind the cold, I just hope it don't rain. We need to get this one knocked out today and tomorrow. Arrived. Here. Victor has arrived, and his crew, his stealthy crew. All right. Yesterday, I stopped at this place to get Victor a mask. He's having trouble with his asthma out there around those pear trees that had been sprayed with chemicals, and I don't know if it was the chemicals or just there was a lot of bugs and a lot of dust, and so just certain things bother him. This is a nice clean orchard here, and he won't have any problems, but he asked me to go by this medical supply place and get him a mask, and another guy on the crew was trying to explain what it is. The other guy was a caregiver at one time, and he knew about this special thing for asthma, and so I stopped by there, and that's where I videoed that old Viking, that Chevrolet 2-ton truck, that Viking. I put it on Instagram. It wasn't in the video yesterday, but I stopped by there and to get that for Victor, and there was a comment about that on the video. A long-time viewer, a long-time subscriber, and a supportive viewer. I've been supporting my channel a long time. A gentleman by the name of Jay McCracken, I believe, is the YouTube name. And he said, something about Ken, the boss, trying to help Victor, the employee, with a medical condition. And, well, of course, that helped Victor, but it's not so much Ken, the boss, and Victor, the employee. We're like brothers, as you can probably tell. And I know what you meant, and about that I do care something about my employees, and I do. But Victor's kind of a partner. I made him a partner in this thing. He gets a percentage, and he gets a healthy percentage. Trust me, he's doing all right. We're not partners, all legally and all the paperwork and all that, but but we trust each other, and he gets a real good cut of this thing, and as it should be. But even before, over the years, even before I made him my partner, over the years, there was a lot of times that he made more than I did, and that's okay. You know, I don't have to have every nickel. There were times when he'd get a real good bonus. I remember one time he got, I don't know, $5,000, I think. He's gotten bigger bonuses than that. But at the time, this is a long time ago, and I said, Victor, do you know why you got that bonus? He said, no, not really. And I said, well, it's because you have a very good understanding of the fact that the boss is not always right, but he's always the boss. And Victor never missed a beat. He come back, he said, you're right, boss. So he's a funny guy. Well, it's just starting to rain. It's 5 o'clock. We just finished the row and now it's raining. So I guess that was good timing. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm going to try to get this in focus here. It's kind of hard to see. The sun's real bright. What I'm doing is prepping this wood for budding, and there's a special way we do that by pulling that leaf down alongside the limb. It snaps that off. It leaves that little petiole. That's called a petiole, that little short section of leaf stem. The idea behind that is it keeps from exposing that leaf scar, and I'll do one here wrong just to show you. If you pull that off, that exposes a little leaf scar right below that bud, and that can potentially dry the bud out. So what happens is we go ahead and we snap them off like that. And another thing that does is it leaves just the right amount on there, and that leaves that kind of square on top. Part of the reasoning behind that is when that's square like that, you can take your thumb and push that bud in, or sometimes you'll use this little back part of the knife, that little bump on there, and slide that bud in. What we're doing, I guess, first of all, is we are budding on a particular variety of apple. I don't know what it is. It's a new one. It's a special one to this grower. He's happy to get the wood. He could not buy these trees. If you go to buy the trees, even a more common variety, chances are you'll be out till 2016. The nurseries can't really keep up with the demand on this. So he has found a neighbor or a neighboring orchard or someone he knows that has this particular variety that he wants. He's gone and collected all these shoots. These water sprouts, sucker shoots, they're called. It's this year's growth. It's grown in the trees just this summer. And he collected this yesterday, put it all on ice, and he got it up to us at 6 o'clock this morning, and we started prepping this wood and getting it ready for the budding process. So what he did was, to get this orchard established, he bought some trees from a nursery. They were not the right variety, but it had the particular rootstock that he wanted, the desired amount of vigor in order to have a dwarfing tree just the right size for this particular variety. You have to get compatible with the variety, how much vigor is in the variety, and adjust the rootstock accordingly, or the tree will get too big, or it won't grow enough, or there's a lot of variables. But this is what he wants, so what we're doing is, it's called budding. The process is called budding rather than grafting, because we're taking only a bud. We're slicing a bud off of this stick. If we were grafting, we would collect this wood and put it in cold storage. It's collected in the winter after it's gone dormant, not this time of year. It's still green, and the buds are mature, but the wood's still green right now. So later on in the winter, these shoots would be collected and put in cold storage, and we bring it out in the spring and do top working or grafting. And this process is called budding, which means we're just using the bud. So what I'm going to do is slice this bud off of that stick, and I'll make a little slot in the tree, in the bark, and slip this under the bark. You saw that in the video before, how I was doing that. If you look at this, you can see a little dark layer right between the bark and the hard wood, and that's the cambium layer, and that's where all growing takes place. And we have to match this cambium, or touch the cambium on this bud. Of course, the back side of the bud will look just like that cut. And we have to make sure that that cambium touches the cambium on the tree, because that's where it's going to hook up and grow. One of the things that sets us apart from some of the other guys in the business that do this is I make that cut. I always slice completely under that bud and then pull out so that I've got a nice cut. This makes a complete, that cambium makes a complete ring all the way around, so it's a nice oval. A lot of guys will slice under the bud and then just rip that off, and what that does is that leaves a little place across here where across the top where there is no cambium, and then when it's healed into the tree, it'll heal in just fine and it looks good. But then next spring they'll come in and cut that tree off right above that bud and force this bud, it signals to the tree that this is the terminal bud now. It always sprouts first, the tops start to grow first, the top buds. So you make this the top bud, so it tells the tree, okay, this is the one that's supposed to go. So this starts to grow, and then over the course of the summer it may start to tip out or lean out because there's no cambium contact right here at the top, and then the wind can potentially break them out. So that's one thing that I teach my guys, and of course I don't have to worry about it. I've got Victor out here, he's an old pro. Anyway, that's what some of the guys do. You know, I don't know, they may save a millisecond by doing that, but I don't know. We get pretty quick at cutting that off and making that perfect oval without tearing at all. So that is the art of budding, and I love the art of budding. I like being able to do that. I like getting good at that, and I like racing the clock and seeing how fast I'm able to put these in the tree, and that gets to be kind of fun. The only thing that's not fun is the bending over part. I used to say I love the art of budding, I just don't like where it's located, because generally it's about 6 inches off the ground. Now this being some trees that have been grown already in the nursery, instead of just a rootstock, normally we would be just grafting on a rootstock or budding onto a rootstock, but in this case we're budding onto an established tree, so we're budding them up a little bit higher. We don't have to bend over and do it 2 inches off the ground. What I was going to say about that, I guess, is that it is awfully hard on the back, especially when you're doing it all the way down close to the ground like that. And I've always just bent over. I could never work on my knees. It hurts way more to lean sideways and lean over the trees than it does just to bend over and kind of hang there. So I've had, over the years, many people come out and watch us do this, and one of the things that they always say is, boy, I bet that's hard on your back. I suppose you get used to it after a while. And you know what? You never get used to it. I told a guy, yeah, it's kind of like if you bend over, somebody makes you bend over all day and then beats you across the back with a club all day long. I suppose you get used to it after a while. You know, you just don't. It hurts. But, you know, it's what I do for a living. It's my talent, I guess, and I've gotten pretty good at it, and I've stayed with it, and I'm still doing it after almost 40 years. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it. I've got some clients that tell me they're not going to let me retire, so we'll see about that. But anyway, that's the budding process, and I may video a little bit more about putting that bud onto the tree and about how that's tied in. And I may video a little bit more about putting that bud onto the tree and about how that's tied in. We use these little budding bands or little rubber strip, and they will stretch and not girdle the tree. So there's quite an art to tying those just right as well. And I may get into that a little bit later on. Okay, thanks. When I get a good amount of these little sticks prepped up, I'll wrap it in wet burlap, and we use the evaporating principle or properties or whatever you want to call it for cooling. And I'll just tie these up with use a budding strip. This is real high tech, as you can see, but it's effective. So I'll get one more on that, and we make up these little quivers from this wet burlap, and this is tied onto the belt. I don't know if you can see that, but Victor had it tied onto his belt, and he just pulls one out of there as he needs it. You always put the end, or the small end, down so that when he pulls it out, it does not rub that little bud or the petiole off. And then we put these on ice. Now that one's, yeah, it's on ice all day. And those will last for about 3 days. Don't know how much was in focus, but anyway, that's our little quivers, our ice, our wood is prepped.
Esto no tiene que tapar, ¿verdad? Esto. ¿Así? ¿Y para amarrarlo? ¿Así? ¿Cuántos siguen siendo? Oh, ¿cuántos? ¿Y para amarrarlo así que no más? Oh, son 4 arriba y 4 abajo del retoñito entonces. Haciendo vuelta que vaya más.
How's it going, Victor?
Oh.
You sore?
No, not yet.
No, not yet?
No.
You will be. Nice. Careful. Been walking long? You just started.
I just started. Just started like
You and Ray start together?
Like Ray, yeah. Yeah.
You look like you've done that before. A couple times?
Sometimes. This is my first time.
Oh, really? Wow. You've gotten pretty good at it. Somebody must have taught you how to cut that off the stick like that. That's really nice. Some old gringo?
Yeah.
Alright. Looking good.
Oh shit, you know what I forgot? To give it the right direction to the building.
Oh.
So I gotta go this way.
You gotta go do it back. You gotta go do it over. You're pulling my leg, Victor. What he was talking about is he was telling me which direction he was putting these buds, giving me a hard time. We always put the bud into the wind. That way the wind will force it to go back over the stump and make a nice straight tree. And we got these ladies that are tying here using the little rubber bands, and I'll get a close-up of that a little bit later on. Well, this tree has already been budded, but just in the interest of showing you the process, I hope I'm in frame here. It's really hard to see, but I'll show you how this is done. First of all, it's called a T-bud because you make a cut up and then you cross that across the top and it looks like the letter T. So the way I rock that, I open, certain way I hold the blade, I open up those flaps a little bit, and then that allows for that bud to slip in here, and I'm going to do this slowly. We get pretty quick at it, but in order to show you how it's done, we're doing it slowly. Let's see, I think you can still see that. Yeah, I'll put another one. And then we take the budding strip, start at the top. If you start at the bottom, you can sometimes cause that bud to skid out of the slot. So start at the top and lock that band down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then a tie off. I want 3 wraps below and 4 above. That will hold that bark down tightly and keep the bud from drying out while it heals itself to the tree. So there we go. That's the demo T-bud on apples, Washington State, 2013.